Good evening. Let me move this cord around and get comfortable. How are you all doing this evening? You may hear Peach downstairs, off in the distance, banging on a pan or drum. Who knows? Who knows what you hear? Am I coming through okay? Am I audible? It's 5 a.m. in Europe. Yeah, one of the things I've got to figure out, because I waited to do the name the pink worm until later, because I know people in the UK are like, we didn't get a chance to help with this. So I think if I do it at like 10, if I started at 10 and go through the morning, that it'd kind of cover the widest window. Maybe just kind of make it go a little longer than usual. Today was a good day. No, the days are based off of if Peach has a meltdown or not. And again, I don't know how many of you have children, but that's what's happening right now. It's she's 4.5, and yesterday we try to go for a walk around the block every day, just for basic exercise, and she's been totally fine with it. And then yesterday, she's like, "No, I want to go in the stroller." I'm like, "Well, I can't push you in the stroller, but how about we make a compromise and you walk up this hill, and then I'll push you in the stroller." And she's like, "Ah!" And she just throws herself on the ground and starts screaming, "No." And then she kept screaming, "I don't want to get in the car," which is a very terrible thing for a 4-year-old to scream at the top of her lungs in a, residential neighborhood. So we just pushed her in the car and we kidnapped her and went home. And then that day sucked. But today, she's been great. She's being very nice. She got good sleep. She's been eating. And so have we. So far, so good. The Kickstarter is doing amazing. I'll be honest. I thought, realistically, I was crossing my fingers. I was like, okay, if it makes 100K, it's not great, but I'll be happy with it. But if it makes 250, I will consider it a success. And that would be for the whole month. And we're sitting at 400, almost 400,000. We're less than 8,000 away from 400,000. So, and this is what day is this? Day 2. All right. It's all blending together. So this has become a whole different can of worms, as it were. So I have to change things up. Like, quite honestly, I thought, okay, we'll have a few unlocks, and once we get to this point, then cool stuff will unlock if we get enough money. I didn't expect to do much social stuff outside of maybe naming the worms. But one of the biggest things that people keep asking is, where are the social things that we did with 4 Souls? I didn't think to do them. I honestly didn't think that this was going to be as explosive as it has been, and I didn't plan for it. So, I'm really hoping to start doing some of that stuff. Give me a few days and a few ideas, and I think we can come up with some stuff for you guys to do and unlock. I got a few things approved by Javon, who is in the chat. When it comes to adding a few extras. So I got approval on a few extras since we're at where we're at, and we can tie those things to fun social adventures that revolve around you not leaving the house, I guess. No leaving the house this time. No crazy ARGs where you've got to go all over everywhere. And I know what you're thinking. No, there's no coughing in anybody's face, and there's no eating worms. Trust me, we thought about the eating worms part. But if somebody dies from eating worms, that's not good for me. And that'll cost me more than $400,000. And I'm only making a small cut of that. And it will come from my pocket personally. So let's not eat worms. We'll brainstorm some ideas later for the most part. But I'm gonna go down I have a little list up here. I actually made like a little cheat sheet of the things that I should be talking about right now. So I will say that tomorrow, if you missed your gold box, if you missed your chance at the gold box, you will have another chance at the gold box. They are going to be much more limited. We were able to put together a couple of few. So we're going to have a higher tier. It's going to have a bunch of extras in it. We're going to have a higher tier with a gold box in it. And then we're going to have what people have been asking for, a very high tier. The highest tier so far will have not only the gold boxes, but a ton of other stuff, a ton of like limited Kickstarter exclusive stuff that we had in the last Kickstarter that you simply can't get. There's even rumors of foil cards. We'll see what happens, but be on the lookout for that. I don't know when exactly it's going to go up tomorrow, but it will go up tomorrow. We're going to have more gold boxes up tomorrow with more stuff in them. We're basically going through and being like, hey, how much do we have of this? How much do we have of this? Discovering new things. Javon is writing everyone all over the world to send us your boxes. If you have any Four Souls gold boxes in your storage, you send them back. Send them to us so we can actually, or at least take pictures of them so we know they exist, so we can sell them from where they are. So make sure, yes, there are player mats. Okay, I'm going to look at the thing. There are player mats available. There are figurines available. All the stuff, there's not a lot. There's a bunch of stuff that was exclusive to Kickstarter in the last Four Souls thing, like figurines and play mats and expansion packs and extra coins, all that stuff we're going to try to pack into larger tiers. I'm thinking one is like around 160 and then one maybe a 350, 400, depending on how we can pack it in. It'll be a big amount of stuff. So we're going to pack in all that stuff. And of course, regardless, you're going to get the premium version of Tapeworm. You get all the unlocks. You're going to get the extra copy of the game and whatever else we unlock. Which leads me to the next big thing. We're going to be announcing something hugely significant that will make, I want to say 50% of people will flip they will lose their minds over this. They will think, oh my God, I need this in my life. This is the greatest thing ever. I'm one of those 50%. And then the other 50% will be like, why did you do this? How could you do this? I don't want this. And that's okay. That's totally fine. But for the 50% of people who are like me, coming Monday, and we're going to do another midnight release for this, we're going to add a whole new tier that is totally Tapeworm related. This isn't something from the past. This isn't something that's ever existed before. This is a new item. And we're going to announce it with a premiere trailer for it that I think is pretty funny. And I think you're going to like it. At least 50% of you are going to like it. It's going to be like, I wanted to do this the whole time. I begged and pleaded Javon. He had to, we'll talk. I don't want to spoil too much, but we should get Javon on a Skype call or something so we can talk about how he had to pitch this to the higher ups and get approval. The trailer's not by James. The trailer's by the same people who did the Kickstarter trailer. It's you'll see. I helped make it. It's a fun one. Midnight Pacific. I will announce and I will push that and say something significant is coming soon. Yeah, Jackson knows. There are a few people in this chat who already know this stuff because they heard me say, all I want to do is this. And then Javon's like, well, if I can get approval and we can make enough money, we can do it. And we've made enough money. It's physical. It's a physical thing. And it's going to go in a slightly higher tier than the pink box. It's going to be fucking awesome. It's not going to be super expensive. It's going to be the same price, basically, as the pink box. It'll be the next tier up above the pink box with the base box. It'll be like pink box, base game, super cool, must-have item for 50% of you. It's super cool. I'm super excited. I'll sit here and fucking watch the premiere with you. I'll do that countdown thing. We'll do midnight premiere Monday, and that won't be... I'll have to ask Javon if it's going to be Monday as in Sunday, like Monday morning, or if it's going to be... We'll figure that out. I haven't figured it out yet, but it's going to be cool. So, be excited. And for those of you who worried about, like... So we're going to be hitting, honestly, in the next few hours, we will hit that 400,000 mark by the time I wake up tomorrow, maybe before that. And that's before all these gold boxes and extras will go up. The next unlock tier is going to be at 600,000, and I think we can totally do that, especially with this new extra mind-blowing extra that's going to be dropping on Monday, as well as what gold boxes we have left. But for those asking about more physical extras tapeworm wise, so we went over, like, this shit hit like right when the corona stuff was starting in China. So it's like all the factories shut down, all the contacts we had there, for Javon, like all that stuff just died. Like we wanted to do like a plush worm and stuff like that too. But then it was also like, well, how much would we have to make in order for that to happen? And, you know, of course I have faith in my games and I have faith in the fans, but the thing is you never know. And we weren't going to go start investing in a lot of craziness when, I mean, this isn't tied to any other existing IP. It doesn't have a huge fan base like The Binding of Isaac did. So the stars aligned in a bad way, you could say. And it was kind of like, well, I guess we shouldn't try to push this and break the bank and figure out how to make all these things here when we don't even know if people want these things. There probably won't be any new physicals extras outside of cards and stuff to throw in the box, which we can totally do. Like one of the suggestions that people had was, what if we did alternate art wormhead cards, like based on like cameo cards, like Steven instead of the black worm or Isaac instead of the pink worm. I'd love to do that. Maybe we can tie those unlocks to social things, and we can kind of work it out like that. But honestly, I'm totally up for any ideas, but you got to keep in mind that what we're working with here realistically, because we're not going multi-millions in this thing. It'd be amazing if somehow we did $1 million. We can't go and be like, hey, we have to go and make 10,000 socks and they're only going to go into this tier. And now we have to have 10,000 people that want to upgrade to this tier. We're going to have this backstock of socks. You know what I mean? Like you can't just print and, what do they call it? Not print and play, but print on demand, good quality socks that are custom made, you know? So we're like, I don't know, like I want to brainstorm bigger tiers for sure, but there are limitations. And those limitations, like I said, are we can do extras in the box. We can do more cards. We can do 4 Souls cards. We can do alt art cards. We've done stickers. We've done a mini poster. If there's anything else that's small and cardboard papery and you've got an idea for it, throw it at me. Maybe we can do that. I'd love to be able to do Meat Boy for the red one, but I'm not allowed to just do that since it's not mine anymore, sadly. But it would have been nice. Maybe somebody else can get approval for me. I don't know. I doubt it though. But we'll find another red one. We could always do like Skinless Isaac, you know, like a not meat child. We could do like Beef Kid or something. That's fine. That's where I'm at now. But what else? The mini poster is not that big because it's basically a little bit bigger than a 3x3 card that's folded over a few times. It's still being worked on, by the way. I'm gonna actually put the poster up soon enough. A magnet sheet. It's not a bad idea, but those are a little expensive, and the weight of a magnet sheet does raise the price of shipping, which is another thing too. We can't go over the weight that we've already allotted, or shipping will jump. You know what I mean? But the cool thing is with the new super cool thing that's gonna hit on Monday, it fits in the package with everything else. So like if your shipping won't go up because you already are ordering 3 things. It's not like we're shipping that separately. It'll go into the box. It'll fit into the box. The expensive tier, the gold box tiers will drop tomorrow, possibly midday, maybe around 4, maybe a little earlier when I'm sleeping, maybe a little later when we can stream. I have no idea. I can't do Chad either. Chad is not, I think it's technically owned by Team Meat, so I can't do Chad. I know it's confusing because this stuff is like crossover into Isaac world, but I did all that stuff when I was a part of Team Meat, and now that I'm not, I can't just freely be like, Dr. Fetus and Band-Aid Girl and everybody else get cameos in my game. You know, I don't want to get sued, so let's not tread down that one. So other things like signed things. We sold out on all the draw you as a worm thing. Could possibly put more up, but I don't want to kill myself drawing a million worm faces. I could possibly do a digital tier. I could do, what do you guys, this was suggested a few times. What do you guys think about a really high tier where you get 30 minutes with me on Zoom and I draw you digitally or something and then we just talk? Is that something that someone would want? I backed Alejandro Jodorowsky's latest film, and the highest tier, which was like $2,000 or something, was he will send you a video of him doing a tarot card reading specifically for you. Not only did I back that, but I did another one. I backed with my wife so she could get one too in another account, and they've never sent me a video, and it's been almost 2 years. It sucks. And I email them, and they're like, they just stop responding at this point. But the first response was, you will get your tarot card reading when it's most appropriate for you to get it. And it's like, oh yeah, okay, I get it. But the thing is my wife got one too, and she never got hers. So I'm feeling you guys who've had bad issues in the past with Kickstarter. So I'm pretty sure Javon will send out an email when the new tiers are available. I wish I could give you guys a better time of exactly when, but it's all about like when we get, like Javon needs to get a 1,000% approval that we have this stock for sure. And then we need to have all the art for the tiers ready, and we need to make sure that it's not just stock of 4 souls, it's stock of all the other things that we're packing in. All the limited edition stuff. But I have a feeling that some of you will flip the fuck out about the big tier, because there's something that we had a very limited supply of that only a few people in the world have, that is going in on that one. So I think people will shit over that. Any chance of more $60 OG tier gold treasure Kickstarter, Isaac? No. So a lot of people don't realize this. So the early bird gold box tier that was $60 that went up was basically a cost. We're not really making money off of that. The retail game sells for $40, and the gold box was selling for $35. The gold box goes for over $100, $120 usually on eBay because it was so limited. And we were kind of losing on that, but we had a bunch of gold boxes, and I wanted to make sure like the OG fans that were here from the get-go, like from the stream to launch, could get their hands if they wanted a copy cheap. From now on, we're gonna lock, like, the next tier is gonna be about 160. It'll have the gold box. It'll have a bunch of other stuff too, though. It'll be a bunch of extras that make up the price, but a little bit more. You know, we want to keep the tiers higher. We want stuff for people to move up to, and it's not going to really cut it if, like, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but we're sitting at fucking basic almost $400,000 with 8,000 backers, and they're all buying a $25 game. It's not like we have a bunch of tiers that are just crazy expensive that people are like, with the Four Souls Kickstarter, we had people buying tiers at $150. That's a lot more than a $25, $15, tier that people are going for. So we need higher tiers for people to go move up to, because a lot of people are saying like, hey, I missed the gold box. I'm sitting here with this double tier or whatever, or a signed copy for $100, and I would love to be able to throw more money at the Kickstarter, but I can't because I can't move up. Like, the maximum here is $100. That's all you can spend on here. And that was like mid-range for Four Souls. So in order for us to make enough to add a shitload more to the boxes, we need to make more money. In order to do that, we need to have higher tiers. So we're going to try our best to add those higher tiers for sure. Will the gold box tier tomorrow include some similar items from the 150 hoarder? Yeah, it might look pretty similar to that. There are some items that were sold out that probably won't go in, but for the most part, it should look like the hoarder with tapeworm and some extras and stuff like that. And then the bigger one will look crazy. It'll have some stuff that wasn't even available during the last Kickstarter that you will shit your butt about. No, the mind-blowing extra is not going to be the OG box tier. Okay, let me check my list of things to talk about. Okay, socials. Once, possibly over the weekend, like I said, I want to come up with a bunch of social things for you guys to do to unlock some cards with. I'll do the first list, but I really would like some help on like coming up with crazy ideas of things for people to do creatively or weirdly, like take a picture with a worm, or come out to your parents that you have a tapeworm, something like that. Fun stuff that'll make your mom worry about you. That's what I like to do for these things. And we'll have like, draw worms and paint your face like a worm, cosplay as a worm, maybe get your mom to lay down on the ground and act like a worm. Maybe that'll be one of those too. But we'll do a bunch of those. And we'll unlock some stuff with that for sure. So that's coming for sure. I don't want people to feel like we're half-assing it, even though the Kickstarter is successful. I really didn't have any of these things planned because I didn't think it would do this well. But now that I see that it is doing really well and that you guys actually really want it, it seems to be one of the most requested things that people want social fun stuff to interact with the Kickstarter with. Well, we're going to do it. So that's for sure going to happen. Can we upgrade the OG gold box tier? Yeah, you totally can. That's the one of my favorite things about adding higher tiers like this is if you move, so let's say you move from the $60 gold box tier and you move up to the $160 one, or even like the close to $400 one, it'll open up a gold box for somebody else. So the whole website will look like this little leapfrog effect where there are people out there who will be able to get into the original OG gold box tier because some people will move out and they'll move up. So it's this kind of cool trickle down effect, and makes it easier for people to get their hands on something lower in tier. Okay. Do Do you guys want to see my screen? Do you guys want to see my screen and kind of go over what you've unlocked for Souls promo wise? And then we can kind of talk about how the cards play and then maybe give you some feedback on what you think. We can kind of go back and forth. We'll definitely do fan art for sure. Once I show you all this stuff, I'll do a QA for like half an hour and just hang out. And then we can just talk whatever. Okay. Let me move some stuff around. Sorry, now I'm going to be looking over to this side because I'm trying to display my screen. Blink. All right. You guys see this, right? I know we're on a slight delay, but this is so this is what everything looks like in the inside of a card. This is the guts of a card. Whoops. So this is the Tapeworm monster card. Now it's still a work in progress. I want to change the background to look like worms, which we actually have a few different wormy backgrounds. So I'm gonna make a blurry wormy background so it looks more special. And the basic design for this, it introduces the egg counter mechanic, which will be exclusive to Tapeworm. All of the 4 Souls cards will utilize this egg counter mechanic in some way. And people have been confused on what an egg counter is. An egg counter is just a counter. It can be anything you want. It can be a penny. It can be an egg. It can be a little booger, a scab, like a chunk of dandruff or whatever else. Anything you find and you put on the card, it's just to count that there is this type of counter on the card. So you can use whatever you want. But these counters are specifically egg counters because they're tied to other things. So the basic design for Tapeworm is, so you've got the cute 4 play. So the 4 play. You got 4 worms. And you've got, so obviously it has 4 life. And it deals 4 damage because there's 4 worms. And when you kill it, the active player loots 4. It's really easy to hit. You only fail on a 1. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, when you roll the dice on this, you're hitting it. Pretty easy kill. Low medium for a boss. It does not yield a soul though, and there's a reason. When this dies, the active player gets an egg counter. And the egg counters are going to talk to each other, so it's going to do more than just this. But right now, the egg counter will go on the player who basically killed it, or the active player when it dies. And then when any player with an egg counter, when a player with an egg counter dies, and this is in discard, remove the counter from the player, put this back into an active monster slot. So this guy's a pretty easy kill, and loot 4 is a really high reward. So what this does psychologically in the game is it puts you in a situation where you've got a bounty on your head. People will want you to die because they want to get this card so they can loot 4, because they could probably kill it on their turn. And that's the dance we're working with here. So you'll see that the other card I'll show, maybe even I'll spoil the red one that's coming next. They all play around with this mechanic of forcing players into a situation where they have bounties on their heads or stuff like that too. Tarhead drew this, by the way. He's awesome. So that's the basic design for this one. No, we're not going to do physical egg counters. That's way more of a to-do for something that doesn't matter that much. Magic has a bunch of specific counters, and they've never made anything for any of theirs. The coolest idea is if you happen to have a game called Wingspan, you can use the egg counters from that. That's perfect. Just do that. Just go buy another expensive game and take the egg counters from that. So, that's you've already unlocked this one. So in all the pink boxes will include the unfinished poster, which I will be showing soon. The sticker sheet, which has all the little worms on it. That'll be awesome. And the Tapeworm card. The next one coming up is the Black Proglotted, which I believe that's how it's pronounced. It's a tapeworm egg. Black Proglotted treasure card. You guys will be unlocking this pretty soon. It unlocks it at 400. And it is a passive treasure card, passive item. And it reads like this. At the start of your turn, you may put an egg counter on a player or monster without an egg counter. Then, each time... Oh, this at the start and end. So there's two. So at the beginning of your turn, you put one counter. And at the end of your turn, you put another. So you get 2 egg counters a turn. So each time a player or monster with an egg counter dies, remove their egg counters. Each player without an egg counter gains 2 cents for each egg counter removed this way. So this is a very... so this fucks with people in a political way. So you don't have to put egg counters on anybody. It says may. You may put an egg counter on a player or monster without an egg counter. What you want to do is, if somebody wants to be your friend, they don't want egg counters. So you can threaten people or say, hey, okay, I'll put an egg counter on you. That locks you out of any bounties on anybody else. Or you could just, it's what in Magic they call a group hug card. If you can play this and you could be the king of the world, right? You could be like, you know what? I'm going to put 2 egg counters on each of these low level, enemies that are already in play. And now when they die, if no one has egg counters, everybody gains a bunch of coins and everybody's happy and you become the king of the day. Totally legit. But this card has way more depth than you would think. I love cards like this in Magic. And I really love to do this stuff in 4 Souls, and I will be doing a lot more of this kind of stuff, similar, not with egg counters and stuff like that, but in the expansion that I'm working on. But it's super cute. You can use it however you want. You can totally fuck with people and put egg counters on everybody, and you could be the only one without egg counters. Somebody will probably you want to buddy up with at least one other person. And as long as they're paying out, everything's fine. So, yeah. So once again, this card reads at the start and end of your turn. So 2 counters a turn. You may, so you don't have to, you may put an egg counter on a player or a monster without an egg counter. Each time that a player or monster with an egg counter dies, remove their egg counters. Each player without an egg counter gains 2 cents for each egg counter removed in this way. So... you could be that funny guy who puts puts a bounty on your head. It's just these are bounty counters essentially. Like this is a little bounty. I love the theme of infection. That's all the egg counter stuff plays around infecting other people. So you've got this tapeworm that's laying eggs in other people and making them infected with tapeworm. So you guys want to see what's coming next? I mean, it's gonna be spoiled early morning tomorrow either way. So, and you guys are all here. You guys get exclusivity. This one was also drawn by Tarhead. Takaro, who's in here, also drew some stuff. So don't you worry. You'll be seeing a bunch of her stuff too. Okay, we got the red one. Here's Mr. Red. Oh, what's his name? His name's Greg. He has a name now. Red Proglotted. All right, this is a pay to win card. And this is a treasure card that you activate by paying 5 cents. You pay 5 cents and you put an egg counter on a player or a monster. And these are the same egg counters. This is the same egg counters as all the other things. So if you're putting egg counters with the Black Proglotted, and then this guy's in discard, well, it all chains together. All these cards will talk to each other if you have them out and they're comboing. So, Greg, put an egg counter on a player for 5 cents. All right. Or monster. Players and monsters with egg counters gain +1 damage for each egg counter on them. If that player or monster dies, remove their egg counters. So this card is bonkers. I love this card. It might change. I just designed it. I finished it. Well, it's not finished yet, but I finished up some of the wording earlier today, so I could get it all submitted. But for the most part, the idea of this is you could use it to screw somebody over by making a monster extremely hard. Like you could do this in response to somebody failing a damage roll on a monster and then give that monster +1. So it's a card that can fuck people over. It's also a card that people can pay you to do. Give me 10 cents and I will give you +1 damage. You could do it on the roll, man. Somebody's succeeding a roll. Somebody succeeds a roll against a monster and they only deal 1 damage. The monster has 2 life. Hey, you pay me 10 cents. I'll put an egg counter. I'll put an egg counter on you and you get +1 damage. It's a basic design. It's a basic combat trick. It's super easy, super fun, but it also goes with the other cards mentioned. And I wish I could spoil the next one that I don't have artwork for yet. Well, I think it's actually Takara did it, and it's going to be it's so fucking cool. It's so cool. It's important. I want every single worm to have representation in this, and they all speak to each other. They all do interesting things. It's cool. I'll spoil a little bit of the next one. The next one, it may not even be. I may tie the next one to a social one, so it's not like a percentage one, and maybe it'll come out a little sooner than the red one. Who knows? But the next one's the white one, and he is a suicidal worm. And that's all I'm gonna say. But it's cool. It's neat. And it will also spoil a mechanic that I'm going to be using for the expansion. There's quite a few cards that are tied into it. And again, of course, it'll use an egg counter. Or maybe more. Who knows? It's very Suicide King. What happens when a monster with an egg counter gets replaced by a new monster in the top of the deck? Do egg counters get removed? I guess technically they wouldn't get removed. I might have to. How could I word that so they would actually not? I guess they would have to be removed. I might have to put some wording. I don't know where to do it though, but I guess it would just be on the one monster card. No, I guess it'd be on all of them. I'll have to have some general rule that when a monster with any counters on it gets covered, that it loses its counters. Because it'd be too difficult to keep track of counters on cards underneath cards. It'd be too much of a pain in the ass. So it would just have to lose its counters. But who knows? I mean, that's another answer to issues too. If somebody keeps putting damage counters on a monster, you can always attack the top of the deck and cover that monster up and remove the counters. So it works. There's the names. So we're gonna name the pink worm tonight. We'll see what happens. I have no fucking clue what you guys are gonna do. Danielle thinks it's gonna be called. Okay, I'm not even gonna say that because then it'll become the meme. But Danielle thinks that every one of these worms is gonna be some basic ass meme type situation where you guys just say one thing and then everybody else agrees and then it becomes a thing. Also, it can't be Karen. Like, this isn't Karen. Like, the pink worm is nice. The pink worm loves everybody, maybe a little too much. Naively lets themselves get way too close to people. Also, I don't think we can call it Pepto. We can't call it like copywritten things. We can't do that sort of stuff. But we gotta figure this one out. That's for sure. So let's unlock all these fucking cards because they're super cool, right? They're super cool. And I want all of them to be in the box and maybe more. I want to get to a point where I'm having to invent loot cards that put egg counters on people, you know? Something stupid like that. There's got to be something like that. Or even like I don't know. We'll figure it out. So let me come back. Let me come back to Earth. Boink. Hope you enjoyed that trip down development lane, so you can kind of get into the headspace, because I do want your suggestions and it, you know, questions like what happens to the egg counters. Some I haven't been playtesting these things. I'm only playtesting them in my brain, and I can't really playtest with anybody else. So it is super helpful to have a bunch of feedback on where misunderstandings might come from, or what design issues might, how to streamline an idea, essentially. Are there going to be tapeworm items in the Isaac expansion? No. All the tapeworm stuff will be exclusive to this Kickstarter. I mean, the cards. I mean, I guess we could. I mean, I should say there won't be new tapeworm cards in the next expansion, unless it's one of those situations where people desperately want new tapeworm cards. I don't think that's going to happen. I think in the next Four Souls expansion that people are going to want a bunch of like repentant stuff that I didn't put in, and if we add anything extra, it'll be like that. Takara, feel free to touch up your artwork after seeing other people's artwork. Go for it. Make it. It's nothing set in stone until the end of this Kickstarter either way. Nothing gets printed until the end. We've got 30 days. We're fine. Jelly beans for egg counters is an amazing suggestion. Will there be a better forum to send suggestions? How do we do it before? I think somebody made like somebody in the last Kickstarter made a Google Doc that was shared with everybody that had a bunch of cards that were spoiled that gave feedback. If we could do something like that, I think that would be cool. For sure. You know what? I was going to do this. People give me shit because I'm not as engaged with the comments on the Kickstarter, and I'm more engaged with people on stream or on Twitter. So I'm going to read down. I'll pull this over here. I'm going to read down. This is be like me reading mean tweets. I'm going to read down the list of comments on the Kickstarter, and I'm going to bullet point address major issues that people have, just so I can be clear with everybody. Ignore me while I kind of skim to something that makes sense. Oh, well, here's a good one right now, but it's already been answered, but I'll answer it here. Somebody says the Kickstarter is not very attractive. No social stretch goal, no response, nothing that unlocks and pushes to buy. Hype falls back, I think. And this is true. And that's why we're doing all these things. It's just the beginning. And once again, like we didn't think it was going to do as well as it has. We didn't think people were going to be as engaged as they are, and we want people to continue to be engaged. So yes, give us a few days. I will come up with some social stretch goals. I will come up with some interesting card unlock ideas. And we're going to do more streams like this. I mean, if you have ideas, tell me. We're going to do more big tiers. We're going to try to get more gold boxes, et cetera, to make it more attractive. Okay. Love to see more Four Souls stuff being added, but I do understand that everyone else feels with that. I think a cool idea of a stretch goal would be card sleeves that change the way the card back looks. So I don't know about custom sleeves. And Javon was telling me something. Let me put this up here. Card sleeves a fucking weird one. We looked into this in the last Kickstarter. Card sleeves, custom card sleeves are stupidly expensive, and they're not worth it because card sleeves do fall apart. It's so weird. It's such a weird situation. I would highly recommend, if there are 3x3-inch card sleeves out there, which I haven't looked at when I should have, get clear ones of those and just use those. We'll look. Don't go buy anything yet. Let us look into what fits, what works, and then we'll recommend some third party, whatever for it. But us making them at this point in time with the situation that we're in, where we couldn't even magically find a printer that's open to do this stuff at this point. And we want the game to be shipped as soon as possible to you guys. And we don't want to extend development by whatever. Like one of the things that we fell on in Four Souls was I wanted to do custom dice. And we eventually did. But I wanted that for the Kickstarter. Turns out custom dice take like 8 months to make. It's like, oh, okay. Now imagine doing something like that and you've got COVID happening and no one's actually working and no one's going to the factories and no one's doing this and no one's doing that. No one's shipping anything and everything takes twice as long to get there and shipping cost has gone up and most places won't ship. So it's a weird one. It's a pain in the butt, but we'll figure it out. This person said, I'd love to see some between step goals that are geared towards the project. We kind of addressed that too. We're gonna do as much as we possibly can, and I know that the money goals, the financial goals, are boring, and we didn't do boring ones last time, so we're gonna keep the boring ones up. The boring ones are gonna stay, but we're gonna do more social ones where you can unlock more. A lot of these are about making interesting stretch goals. Oh, here's a good one that I can address. A lot of people want a playmat, and that's because you don't understand how the game plays. This game is a completely dynamically driven game. This game will flow all over your table. One of the rules in the rule book is once you get to the end of a table with a tapeworm, it stops and you can't keep building on it. That's just the end. It's a dead end. The table becomes part of the game. There is no playmat large enough to fit where this fucking game goes. It goes all over the table, all the way down, all the way over. It's totally insane. There's no way to do a playmat. So it's not going to happen. This person has random ideas. Tapeworm finger puppets. Air-blown tube tapeworm. Tapeworm... All right, Javon. Look into balloons. The balloons that you can make puppets with. Balloon puppets. Why does that sound wrong when I say it? Balloon animals. That's what they call it. Balloon animals. The little long skinny ones. Maybe if we got ones that are in the specific color, we can have custom faces printed on them. I don't know if that's possible because they're so small, but we could look into that. Tapeworm morph suit. Tapeworm pasta sauce and candies. All right. Mouse pad with tapeworm art. It's not a terrible idea, but it is another, kind of manufacturing nightmare. But I don't know. You guys really want tapeworm mouse pads? Somebody says they like the pink box more than the normal one. Now I understand. And that is also another valid point because I'm, Javon. I can't tell you what he said. It's a spoiler and it's terrible. I agree. So the original box looks like this. I can't see myself, so I'm just hoping that this is visible. Where is it? There it is. Tapeworm box looks like this, roughly. It has cool insides, too. This is a really hastily made, thrown together box just to see what it looks like. Because it does actually, if you follow it, Crystal made it so it wraps around correctly. So if you follow the tapeworm around, why can't my brain work? It goes all the way around. And that makes the box really cool. Now, The specialty box, which is the pink foil version of the box, is less enticing because it just says tapeworm on it and it looks just like a pile of worms all pink. I'm thinking, so that's, nothing is set in stone, guys. Like the box for Four Souls changed like 20 different times over the course of just the Kickstarter alone. They kept visiting me with Frankenstein versions of the box. It changed. I have all 4 designs of it. Every design they would, I'm like, hey, can I keep this? And I'm like, sure. And I put it in my collection of weird Frankenstein boxes. But so I think honestly, what we can do here is take the foil treatment as the background, and then just bring this box, bring the wrappings of this box, and just put it over the top. So the boxes will be more similar, but the gold foil, rose gold foil version of the game will look like a more upgraded version of it. Okay. More people talking about incentives. Incentives to move up to higher tiers. Again, suggesting play mats, foil cards. Do you guys really like foil cards for... I'm not keen on foil cards for Tapeworm, the game. Like, I feel like, I don't know. It also, I mean, we could do some sort of like crazy high tier but then we'd have to, I don't know. I'm not sure. Foil cards, maybe, who knows? Tapeworm socks is the cutest and neatest and most fun by far, but I just don't think that many people would actually want it. And this person also brings up alternate art for the gold box. And we could do something different too. Like we could change the art. Hey Takara, you're here. I'll pay you to do alternate art for the gold box. You down? You down? You got time for that? You got all month. So we can do some alt art if Takara's down. Yeah, I'll send you the template. No problem. We got this. All right. I wanted an early bird OG tier, but it's over. It's not over. You tell them. You tell those people it's not over, okay? And it's so not over because you know what? Right after doing this, after Javon's like, okay, we have this many boxes left for sure. We're confirming all these things. Here's the tier. Here's how many we can do. It's going to be it's like less than half of what we did before, but it's still there. I mean, they're going to be in higher tiers, but we still found them and we still are going to put them up. We're going to sell them. There is a small possibility that there are more boxes other places, like in Canada and Australia. Those are the 2 main places that we don't have complete confirmation that all of the gold boxes are gone in those warehouses. And that's what Javon's doing. He's begging and pleading for people to take pictures of the stock. Please send us pictures of the stock so we know how many we have and if we can get these things shipped. So not only is it not over tomorrow, it's not even over tomorrow after all those sell out. We'll find some ways to get more damn boxes. That is Javon's number 1 goal, is he will find it. It could just be 5 more boxes. It could be the 8 more that I have in my garage. We will put them up. We will find ways to sell them and make sure that there's more of a quantity for you. And keep in mind that a lot of people in the OG tier will be bumping up to these higher gold box tiers. And when they do that, it will open up OG old gold box for $60. And then you just get in there. A Tapeworm sketchbook. Tapeworm sketchbook? I know you've said it like 10,000 times, but not sure what we can do with that. I mean, you have literally almost all the art. Like, outside of my really bad sketches, which I'll show you, of the original worms. Originally, the ringworm mechanic was a card. Just so you know, that is no more. Where are these heads? Originally, the white worm didn't have a flat top. Here he is sleeping. The sketchbook would look a lot like that. Look at this black worm looking cool. Hey, dudes. There's some more black worms. So sketchbook wouldn't be that enticing because it would just be like, hey, wait, I saw all this art. It's not like we made a ton of art for this game that we've been working, on for years or whatever. So it's not like this big overflow. So someone said tapeworm condoms. Let's do it. Let's do it, Javon. Someone suggested it. Let's do it. So this person's asking for more stretch goals for Tapeworm, saying that I'm not being creative. Give us cool stuff for Tapeworm. If you're talking about high tier Tapeworm themed stuff, it's just like, there's only so much we can do. We simply can't like magically make socks and make them cost effective and make this and this and this. We'll try to do as much as we can, but we are quite limited to more Tapeworm themes. Like, dude, I love the fact that there are people out here who are like, I love the way this game looks so much that I want a t-shirt and socks. I didn't think you would, so we didn't do it. I didn't think it would do as well as it has, so we didn't do it. And we're kind of painted ourselves into a corner with this stuff where we can't do it now. We might be able to do some stuff though, but yeah. Another question is, how many players can I play the Tapeworm game? How many copies of the game do I need to play with 6 players? One game will totally get you. You're totally fine with 2 to 4 players. Perfect. It plays, if you're playing with 6 people, you want a bigger deck and you want more randomization. So 2 decks is better for 6 people. I've only gone as high as 6. It could go as high as 8. Totally doable. I wouldn't doubt it, but I haven't tested it, so it's not like I'm gonna tell everybody to do it. This person says they want stretch goals. They like the stretch goals, but they would like to get more stuff for the actual card game and not just Binding of Isaac stuff. I hear you. So initially I thought, well, what the fuck am I supposed to add? Like, this game has been balanced over the years so many times, and it's so perfect in its balance of what cards do what. Adding more cards to it seems like a terrible design choice, if that makes sense. People really early on said, why don't we just have alt art heads and they could be cameo characters like Isaac and whatever else? I think that's a good idea. And I think that's something that we will definitely be doing for the pink box with stretch goals and whatever else. We'll definitely do alternate art heads. So you'll have, like, instead of one of the pink heads, it'll be Isaac crying or whatever else. And I'm going to make sure that I put a mark on those cards that say, I don't know, like KS or something. So people know that if you put this in, you have to take one out. Like, they have to be replaced. You don't want to play this game with 4 extra heads in the box, because then there'll be too many heads and it won't work. It won't go as smoothly as it should. But that's totally doable. If you guys have other ideas of more cards to add to the actual game, you tell me, because I don't. I'm not sure what else we can add, because it's not like the game is what it is. So adding more cards to it, it's not like Four Souls where the game gets more unique when you add more cards because it adds more randomization. This is balanced in such a specific way that adding more cards upsets the balance. So in order to add any card, you need to add one of each of those cards, and then you'd have to add one of each of the other cards that go with it. So if you got ideas, that's there. Tell me. Oh yeah, we're getting really close to 400. It'd be cool to be able to hit it during the stream. You could always just artificially bump it. You could all just get signed copies right now. And then just, if you're already considering going for like the 160 plus gold box tier or some higher tier that we add later, you can always just bump up to the signed copy now and then move up to the next copy when it comes. And then we'll get to 400,000 faster. But either way, we're going to get there. Love Four Souls. And I'm glad that they're glad they have the card game, but they still wonder why half of the stretch goals of this game are designed to be played with another game. Okay. So I really liked what was it? I can't remember what it was. There was this, it's Transformers. There was this thing that you get these Transformers and they would come with like an arm of something. And when you'd get all the Transformers, you could build this other object. I really liked that as a kid. I don't even know if they did it a bunch of other action figures too. I think like later in life, it was like X-Men and you could build some huge bad guy or whatever by getting like pieces of him in other packs of action figures. So I wanted to do some Frankenstein-y thing like that where I knew realistically a high majority of fans of the Binding of Isaac Kickstarter are going to back this. So I wanted to be able to give them really cool Tapeworm themed cards that they could play around with when they get the cards. And I guess I underestimated that people would really just want more of this game. And once again, I'm stuck in the same answer where it's like, don't know what to do. Don't know how to make this game bigger because I've been working so hard on making it as streamlined as possible. I'm going to try harder. I'm going to think more and figure out what else I can do to make more unlocks based on just Tapeworm. And I'll ask Javon about that stuff too. Like what kind of crazy shit we can add that's reasonable and that we can print here. Another person says they want stretch goals that impacts Tapeworm instead of just Four Souls. Read you loud and clear. I will do my best. They'll all be tied to social things too, because we already established that the Tapeworm cards are going to be unlocked once you hit XYZ. But anything extra like alt art and stuff like that, I'll make sure to tie those to social goals. Okay. Loading more comments. We're only like 23 comments into 300. I'll have to stop at some point. I'll scoot down. Somebody's asking about the names. So we're going to be naming the pink worm tonight once the stream ends. Maybe after I eat dinner. I haven't eaten yet. So I'm going to go and eat some food and then I'll come back up really quick and post some images of the pink worm and we can name that. And I'm doing that to make sure that people in the UK that are waking up early can actually get a chance to do it. Somebody's talking about saying that they like the game, but they might drop out because the shiny box is not as attractive. And the stretch goals are not relevant for them because they do not have Four Souls. Well, I can meet you halfway. We're definitely going to make the shiny box look more attractive. That's for sure. And we are going to add some extras that are tied to the Tapeworm game. Probably as many as the Four Souls realistically. When I say some, I mean at least 4, hopefully. That'll for sure happen. And if I can come up with some more stuff, we'll add it too. But again, thank you for... I fucked up. I honestly underestimated how many people would like this. Like, it's super cool to think that there are people going in that don't own the Binding of Isaac, don't know who the fuck I am, and they just see this weird worm game and they really like it. That's kind of a weird thing for me because I just automatically assume that anybody coming into this Kickstarter knows who I am, has played my games, knows my work, and probably owns Four Souls for sure. So it's cool to be able to break into this whole other area. It's very alien to me, but I sure hope you I sure hope you're not easily offended by anything else I'm going to be putting into this thing. Somebody else is saying that they can't afford the high shipping cost. Shipping is, of course, an issue, and I totally feel for people that live in places where shipping sucks. One thing I think a lot of people don't understand is I think a lot of people go in and they think that we're doing this, like that we've chosen these numbers, these arbitrary numbers, and that we're just going to charge you extra because you live in a certain place. That's what it costs to ship there. Like, we're not lying. We're not making money off this. In fact, we usually lose money off this. In 4 Sols, we did this, and we lost a shitload of money in South America. Like, it's insane to ship there. We lost a lot of money doing it, but we did it. And we're in a situation, again, where a lot of people are realizing because they buy stuff off of local Amazon businesses. It's like there's an Amazon around every fucking corner in every town, right? Like, there's some large warehouse in every major town for Amazon. And people get Amazon Prime, and then they just get their shit shipped to them for free, and they never look at shipping costs. And we're kind of in that world, in that headspace right now. But realistically, to send stuff all over the world, it costs a good amount of money. And $50 isn't actually that unreasonable for a lot of places. But I totally understand not wanting to back something when the shipping cost is as much or more than the product that you're buying, even though I do it all the time still. Like, I buy a lot of weird shit online. I buy a lot of limited edition books. And trust me, I'm paying as much or half as much, depending on how expensive the items are, in order to ship. But if you don't have the money, I totally get it. But we can't do anything about the shipping. And I'll tell you right now, a lot of Kickstarters that have less shipping, they're just lying, because what they do is they inflate the cost of the product and then they balance it out. And that's how they do it. It's just a little mini scam that they're doing to make it seem like that they're giving you a better deal on shipping when they're just charging you more for the product, and then they're making up the difference. Which hurts other people who are legitimately doing realistic shipping places. That said, we have stations, like at the top of the page, I think Australia, UK, Canada, that we do, I guess they call it like friendly shipping, which makes it so since we're shipping from those stations, you don't have to pay taxes and additional dues on picking up your packages and stuff like that. You still have to pay for shipping, and it's still going to cost what shipping costs there. But yeah, it's friendly shipping. So we went out of our way to make sure we're shipping to major stations to save you guys money. It sucks to be in a situation where people are pissed because they think we're somehow inflating the price of what it costs to ship an item, but that's what it does. Like, that's what it costs. Like, I had to pay for shipping, even in the US, for like a 40-pound box for Kingdom Death. It was a lot. All right. So I hope you understand when it comes to shipping stuff, but I totally get it. Like, if you live in a country who's either we don't have anything stationed there, or it's just fucking expensive, that sucks. I totally feel you. Maybe sometime down the line, somebody on eBay. Well, one of the tiers that we haven't put up yet, that we got to put up soon for retailers, would be like a mega pack of like 20 copies of the game or whatever, and that they can sell in their local stores. Maybe you can find a store down where you live that may have purchased that or whatever else. We can also do a lot of people liked when we did the Double Trouble. Maybe we could do like 2 copies of the pink box. We can do a tier with 2 copies. You can save on shipping, and then like you and your friend can go in or whatever else. But yeah, like we learned a lot. Like even though Javon has done this in the past, it was still a learning experience when it came to not only shipping but like production. And the stupidest thing that I did was suggest a double wide, a super giant playmat. Not only was that a huge pain and that we took a loss on shipping, we also didn't make money off of the product because it was basically sold at cost. So, my bad. I demanded it. I said, we need it. It's important. No matter what it costs, let's do it. And, we sold the game for cheap too. Like, definitely cheaper than what it retailed for in the end. Okay. Let me skim this more and see if there's any other major talking points. Some people have pointed out that they felt they were bothered by the idea of the Four Souls gold box being sold in this Kickstarter when it was Kickstarter exclusive. This is Kickstarter. This is the only time that we can ever sell those things because this is Kickstarter. So the gold box is still Kickstarter exclusive. And we're keeping it Kickstarter exclusive. We're not going and like selling gold boxes off of our page after or whatever else. And we never have. We have this stuff because we couldn't. Okay. People are saying, please add more gold boxes. And then they're asking what expansion packs, what cards are in the gold box. I think there was like a 69 card expansion exclusive to the gold box, which is the most sought after part of that 68 card expansion, maybe. If hopefully that helps. The cards are 3x3 inches for those asking about that. Exactly 3x3 inches. This person did not get an email saying that the Kickstarter started and missed their chance to back it. And they really want a gold copy. That sucks, but hopefully, Dustin, you may have access to one of the larger tiers with gold boxes that we'll be putting up tomorrow. I know it's just kind of random, but what are you going to do? A lot of excited people. People like wanting t-shirts and socks. more of the stuff that we probably can't do. I mean, and a lot of positivity. Someone is complaining about $16 shipping. That's cheap. A lot of shipping questions, and I think I've addressed all those. All right, I think it's all the same stuff from here on out. So I'm gonna stop going through these questions, and I'm gonna go to your questions. Look, I've pulled your chat over so we can hang out. So, I got 15 minutes, and then I'm gonna go downstairs and eat. It's an hour and a half that we've been chilling. If you've got questions, if you want to see cards, if you want to see anything that I have, if you have questions about anything Kickstarter related, or Four Souls related, or if you have suggestions now, this is the point where I'm actually staring at the screen and I can read them. Feel free to do that. Somebody asked if I'm afraid that there are not enough egg cards for this mechanic. It'll seem situational. No, yeah, it's fine if there's only one card, and if another card shows up, then it's even cooler. The cool thing, and I think a lot of people aren't doing this, but they definitely will be doing this for the Four Souls 2.0 expansion stuff, is I highly recommend that you customize your deck. Once the time comes, I'm going to give the actual breakdown of like, there should be, if you've got a stack of 100 cards, there should be this many enemies, this many bosses, this many surprises, and whatever else. And then the same thing goes for all the other decks. And then you can actually just customize your experience, and you can make it more bite-sized so cards like this come up more often. And that isn't to say I don't have a character card planned. I do, and I want to do it. So let's make it happen, because a character card is 2 cards. Will there be a high tier without the gold box? What should I do? Tell me what to do. The highest tier we had was the $200 tier where I draw you as a worm. If you could think of some incentive that could be higher than $400, that won't just be a bunch of stuff you already have, because I know that you personally backed and have everything of mine. I'm 100% down with doing it, but it's just one of those situations where we don't have a lot of extra stuff, so we're kind of working with what, me. I kiss you on the lips for $500. After the COVID thing's over, guys. That's gonna have to be post Post-pandemic, when I kiss you on the lips for $500. What time are we releasing the new tiers? I don't know. It will be sometime tomorrow. Probably midday. We're waking up around 2. Don't judge me. We're waking up around 2. And I got to eat and wake up and check shit. So maybe 4. Maybe Javon gets a wild hair up his ass and he's like, I got to do this now. Let's do it now. And then he just upload, like right the moment he wakes up, he accidentally clicks a button and then it all just goes up and it's just there. Tomorrow is when it's going to happen. Just be vigilant around the midday Pacific Standard Time. Midday. And if we get more gold boxes and do this again, I will try out my best to make sure that we put some up in another time zone, a time area, so like people in the UK would have easier access to. Any new video game plans? Well, I'm working on this game called Repentance, which will be coming out this year. And I'm working on this game called Mugenics, which will be coming out in a few years. It's really fucking cool. But we'll talk more about that later. But yeah, those are the 2 games that I'm working on. If the stars align, at some point I'd like to do DLC for Bumbo once it's 100% to where I want it to be first, which it's not. But eventually we'll get there. And outside of that, I've basically been clearing my plate to make sure that I could focus all my attention on Mugenics, which is what I hope to be doing. Tabletop sim version. This is another one too that people ask a lot about. I hope to talk with a few tabletop sim devs to do something official, and but I don't have enough time in the day to do whatever. Hopefully by the end of the Kickstarter, middle of the Kickstarter, who knows? Maybe we can put somebody on that, Javon. I don't know. Let's talk to somebody about making an official Tapeworm release once the Kickstarter ends. Will Tapeworm 4 Souls cards have the names of the worms on them? Let's do that. Let's do that. Please don't make really stupid fucking names for these other worms. Please make them good. I really want good names. If I'm putting the names on the cards as Basement Dweller suggested, which I do think is a good idea, Greg will be on the card, and I think that's fine. Javon's mom said that she will dress as a worm. Awesome. We're one step closer towards something. Damn it. I missed a bunch of things. Okay. I've done something. Digital soundtrack. Some people ask that too. How is there a digital soundtrack for this game? If you go back and rewatch the Kickstarter video, you'll notice that there is music playing in the background. That was scored by Ridiculon. I really like the track, and you will be getting a copy of it once the Kickstarter ends digitally. If I booked the OG tier, if I booked an EBOG tier that is 100% sure that I will get it after the Kickstarter end, because I'm worried about it. If you have a tier, you're going to get it. It's not changing. We don't put up quantities of stuff that we don't know that we have. So don't worry, you will get it. Will 4 Souls 2.0 have four characters like every other expansion, or just 2? I have a few. Well, there is only 2 official characters, but I've got some ideas for other ones. Don't worry. I got you. Somebody said they missed earlier. What's the $400 tier? There'll be a tier about $400 that will be it will have a bunch of gold boxes and a shitload of really cool stuff from the last Kickstarter that was exclusive to Kickstarter, and a very foily extra that is very limited that will be very sought after. I highly recommend, if you can get it, to do so. I mean, you could fucking just, even if you have the gold box already, you just sell it and make a profit off of it either way. What do I have to do to upgrade my OG gold tier? Manage pledge. I don't know for sure. Maybe Javon can pop into the chat and let me, or just text me and let me know. I don't know the logistics of exactly how it's done, but I don't think it's hard because people do it a lot. I can't give you the balances for 4 Souls card deck stuff right now, but there are balances. I just don't know them off the top of my head. I'd have to go through my my backup stuff. Will the Kickstarter exclusive 4 Soul cards ever be available again? They will never be reprinted again. That's for sure. If they were available again, it would be like if we did the same thing we're doing here. So if we do a 4 Souls 2.0 Kickstarter, there might be a tier that has a few pink boxes that we have left over, and that's the only way you'd be able to get them. So all the Kickstarter exclusive 4 Soul cards are 100% exclusive to the pink box. They won't ever be sold separately. They won't be, they're never taken out of the box. They are shipped with the box inside the box. Will there be Tapeworm editions in Isaac Repentance? We've talked about it. It's possible. I just don't want to put any more on Vin's plate at this point in time. What's the favorite worm that you drew? I like the white worm. The white worm is a playoff of a comic character that I had called Longitz, Johnny Longitz, from a really long time ago. That's what he's based off of, and he is a tapeworm, and his boyfriend is an amoeba, and they have zany adventures that don't make sense. But the Johnny Longitz comics were neat, and that's what I based the flat top white worm off of, and I think that's why I like him the most. I like the black one too, though. What's Repentance? Repentance is the final DLC for The Binding of Isaac, which will expand it like a lot. It's coming out later this year. Repentance when it's done. I mean, the COVID stuff is slowing things down for sure. That and the fact that it's hard to stay productive. It's oddly hard to stay productive, even though I'm used to staying in all the time. It's very difficult to find time, especially having a kid, to work. And then when I finally work, it's almost like I have this subconscious thing, like a survival instinct draining me or something. But it's getting a little better. So, I mean, the goal has always been the end of summer, but at this point in time, it could be later than that. But can I do any deal with Team Meat to make some minor Meat Boy stuff? I have not talked to them in almost 6 years, and I don't think I'm going to be talking to them anytime soon. It's just I don't want to go there. I think it's better to just not cross that bridge. If they somehow hear this and they want to do that, then that's totally fine. Then I'll totally have a Meat Boy cameo in here if they're fine with it. But I also don't want to have to ask, because it sucks to have to ask for these things. And don't bother them either. Let's just not talk about Meat Boy stuff. Will Guppy, Moxie, Tammy, and Cricket be in Eugenics? Every cat will be. Your cat too. All of them. Every cat. That's the goal. Why not call the white worm Johnny then, if his name's Johnny Longitz? Well, but I'm sure that maybe that's a contender. maybe Johnny is a contender. But the only reason why is because I want you guys to legitimately vote on what you think the worm should be called. I didn't have any name set in stone, so you're going to do it. Will it be possible to get a tier or add-on with the 4 Souls expansion, not necessarily gold box? We don't have them. That doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. We never printed that. Basically the way it works is when you print something, you need to print it in bulk. So you need to print like 50,000 copies of something. And then it all gets freighted over. All the contents of that thing are inside of it, and they're all sealed. So we don't have the expansion. The expansion's only in the gold box. So there's no separate expansions. There's no way to just print this expansion and here we'll just add it to whatever. Gold box is the expansion, and that's it. Will the OG gold box get the mind-blowing surprise? Yes. Yes! The gold box tier, I'll say that the gold box 160 tier, as well as whatever that we're doing for the 400 tier, I'll throw in that mind-blowing surprise. It's there. It's there, Javon. We're putting it in. The mind-blowing surprise included in the big tiers. Why not? I hope we didn't lose money. I hope I didn't mess up. Damn it. Okay, I think I went back up. Why is the card stock different for the Four Souls expansion? Just curious. It's because we went with a different printer to do that one. The issue was, I think, that the previous printer couldn't do foil cards. So we went with a different printer, and they tried to get it as close as possible, but some people can still notice if they look close. And that's why it's different. Yeah, you live and you learn. It would be nice to have everything completely consistent, but you know, even Magic the Gathering has had this issue for forever too. I have a lot of old cards that are not remotely the same as the new cards at all. But that's what sleeves are for. Afterbirth Plus was the final one too. Yeah, it was. But I didn't meet Vin. I didn't know Vin existed. So the story goes, I did Afterbirth Plus, and I said that was the final expansion. And then when Afterbirth Plus came out, a small team of modders that had been working for 2 years released a really, really cool mod called Antibirth. And the lead is Vin. And the first thing I did was contact him. I'm like, do you want a job? Because I would love to be able to hire you on to work on these expansion packs, the booster packs that I want to do. And he's like, yes. So we started working together on these booster packs, and eventually the Forgotten. And he did such an amazing job. I'm like, can we make this? Like, maybe we can continue this. If we did, port Antibirth, what would it look like? What changes would be needed to make? What would I want to add, et cetera, et cetera. And then that became it. And then it was like, okay, well, fuck it. That won't be the last one. This will be the last one. And maybe it's not the last one. Who knows? I'm pretty sure it is, though, the last one. Somebody said, I don't control ports. I don't control ports. I don't control. This is another behind the scenes info. So this is the way it works when you're working with a publisher. You sign with them, then they have licensing rights over the product. Then they give you an agreed upon percentage of whatever they make. Then they choose what will be most profitable for them. So if it doesn't look like it's realistically profitable for a publisher to put something out on XYZ platform, they usually won't do it. And that's kind of how it works. So I don't have any control over that. Once I've signed it, it doesn't anywhere in the contract says that I have any control over what they choose to publish on. It's just that I want them to publish the game on as much as possible. And that's basically it. So I don't control that. I don't control what systems it comes out for. I definitely suggest, and I say all, but realistically, I don't have final say in where the publisher invests its time and money. Off topic, is Legend of Bumbo still coming to Switch? Yes, it will eventually come to Switch. I mean, that's a goal. We have a publisher. I think we haven't signed anything yet, so nothing super official. But I'm 99% sure that we're going to be going with them. And once they start the port, they're basically have to decompile the game, put it back together. I'm going to get. I've said this in a previous stream, but part of what I want to do is I want to work with a publisher first to improve the game so it's up to my standards. Like I want it to be better than it is on PC. Then they will give me the PC version because you work on PC first when you port something as well. And then they will port it to Switch and whatever else is appropriate at the time. And so yes, it's still coming to console. It's actually going to come to iOS pretty soon too. I think there's a build that I got today with one of our publishers. So, okay. Will Meat Boy's references be removed in Repentance? No. Anything that existed before, anything reference wise that happened before I left Team Meat will stay. So we don't have to worry about editing a bunch of stuff. But anything after that won't. Oh, everybody's going with Johnny now? Okay. Can we get an Edmund Four Souls card? Hey, maybe. Maybe that'll be like something for the next Kickstarter. Oh, that's a good idea. Somebody suggested 4 blank cards where we can sketch our own heads. That's not a bad idea. Thank you, Jordan Ramsden. I like that idea a lot. 4 blank cards. Okay, yes, we can give you templated cards that just has like an empty white worm space that is exactly templated to the other cards, and then you can draw your arm. Jordan, you're hired. You're hired. That is a good idea. Let's write that down, Javon. Blank cards. Create your own cards. Create your own heads. Yeah, I think that's cool. Let's do that. Good idea. Wait, so tomorrow, $160 and $400 tiers coming, both with gold boxes. Yes. Tomorrow. Be ready. Midday. Hopefully. Will I ever take a break from being the most awesome person ever? Yeah, like right when I get off this call, I'll become the worst fucking horrible person ever. That's when I take the break. Whenever the cameras are off and my wife's around, then I become horrible. It's called relaxing. Okay. Somebody asked what happened with Team Meat. Shit happened. I left the company, and that is what it is. We're working independently from each other. I no longer have any say in anything Meat Boy related whatsoever, and I am free to do whatever I want to do, and I don't have to worry about it as long as it's not Meat Boy. But stuff happens, and I wish them the best. I know that they're still working on some Meat Boy, the iPhone project, the Forever project, and I hope they are able to get it done and out. Of course, I don't want anything Meat Boy related that sucks or anything Meat Boy related to fail, because it's still going to fall back on me in some way. So I wish them the best, and I hope they use all my ideas, but I don't know if they are. Takara wants to do the Ultra Pride card. You got it. Do it. What tiers will have the mind-blowing surprise? I think Javon just messaged me with it. Let's see. Javon says, I can't say that, Javon, because that'll spoil it. Correct me if Javon, will signed editions have the mind-blowing surprise? Signed editions? That's the $100 tier. We'll get confirmation on that. He's typing. I'll read until he's done. Maybe he already is. Okay. He says, yes, we can. We can, or we can realistically do that. All right. The signed edition, the tiers of the signed edition and above will all get the mind-blowing surprise for free. So there you go. Somebody else said they've been suggesting blank cards. Well, Halloween every day. Kudos to you. I had all the ideas for Star Wars. So it's all about who gets there first. I invented Minecraft too. Sorry if you get asked this a lot. What exactly is Four Souls 2.0? Four Souls 2.0 is just a name that I have for an upcoming Kickstarter that will be the a big expansion for Four Souls. It may happen at the end of the year. It may happen early next year. It will happen after Repentance comes out because I want to do Repentance themed things in it, and I don't want to spoil those things early. So it's a big expansion, but it's mostly tied to the Kickstarter aspect, which would be a big box and a bunch of extras and a bunch of crazy shit. But I don't want there to be a pandemic when we do it because I want people to actually play the game with their friends. And I want to stream playing with my friends. So this is no pandemic. Repentance has to be out for at least a few months. So stuff has been spoiled. The economy is not gone. That we're all still alive and well. That's not a bad one too. So somebody said, make the template of those cards to use for the draw you as a worm tier. I don't. We'll have to look into seeing if we can have that made sooner because we want to be able to ship everything out. It's kind of the screwy situation, but we'll look into it and see what works for that because that would be kind of fun for me to have drawn that. See, look, we're coming up with ideas. We're riffing back and forth. This is what I want from you guys. I want ideas. And you're giving me ideas. So yeah. Okay. Will Four Souls 2.0 have a real title or just 2.0? No, it'll have a real title. I don't know what it is though. You know what the stupidest thing I ever did was? Because I don't even know if you guys know this. Do you guys know that there was another expansion for Four Souls? A small one? It was bigger than the Gold Box expansion, but there was another expansion. I called it Four Souls Plus. But every time you write that, it looks like you're saying Four Souls Plus then whatever else you're saying. And I think a lot of people didn't realize that it even came out. But there was a Four Souls expansion, a Four Souls Plus expansion that had a foil card with it, and there's a chance of getting a foil deck. A bunch of foil decks went out. So I'm gonna give this one. I'm gonna make sure it has a name. And this the Angry Bandicoot says, "Can we get Four Souls Plus?" So could we get Four Souls Plus and Four Souls 2.0? And I think you're talking about the expansion, but the way it's written also looks like you're just asking if Four Souls could also be in Four Souls 2.0. My bad. Originally, the plus wasn't supposed to be a plus; it was supposed to be a cross, but that ASCII cross wasn't easily accessible. I fucked that one up. So what are you gonna do? But yeah, Angry Bandicoot. If you're talking about the expansion. We might actually do a tier with the expansion in this, but yes, for sure. We will sell whatever remaining copies we have of Four Souls Plus in Four Souls 2.0. We don't know when the big tiers will go up tomorrow, but they will. Maybe I feel terrible making people wait and figure it out, but we have to figure a few things out, and those things are going to be figured out while I'm sleeping. So once I wake up and I approve everything, then we put it up. So maybe I'll give you guys just pay attention around 4:00, and I may give you guys a heads up 20 minutes in advance. Those of you, we'll do a code. What's the code word? Give me a code word. I'll tweet the code word, and then you'll know to prep. You'll know that it's coming. What's the code word going to be? We'll do the code word. I'll write it down. PST. The code word is Greg. No. Code word is. I like the Cho Jam and Earl's suggestion. Funkify. Funkify. Funkify? All right. I'm going to tweet Funkify, and that's going to let all you people in this chat who got this exclusive knowledge that it's going up soon. So pay attention and keep refreshing. Funkify is going to be it. Look for that tweet around maybe 4 or 5, maybe 3:30, who knows, and around that time, when I say Funkify, when I tweet Funkify, that means go. You go and you keep refreshing for 20 minutes. Within the next, that's the window. Maybe after I tweet Funkify, in the next half hour, we will start putting up all the gold boxes and all the stuff will be going up. So be ready. Okay, I am starving and I went 10 minutes over my thing. So I'm scrolling all the way to the bottom and I'm going to answer 2 more questions and then I got to go. But don't worry, we're going to do another stream on Saturday. And my mom will actually be here. She'll be living with us now. And we will have a babysitter. So Danielle can be up here and we can actually stream us playing the game so you can see how it's played, which is the bane of my fucking existence right now, that we're selling a game that I can't show you how it's played because I don't have a way to stop my daughter from murdering everybody and screaming on the top of her lungs the whole time. Another fun thing to note, since my mom is living with us, we could do a mom stream. What do you guys think? I put my mom here and I just read the chat and I ask her questions, and then she responds for like half an hour. You guys like that? I think mom stream would be great. Somebody suggested a wormhole card that acts as a wild card in Uno. There kind of is one, but I have been considering something like that. But the thing that sucks about it is it would mean rewriting some of the mechanics. But I will consider it. Put that down too, Javon, please, if you're listening. The 2 ideas that are amazing from the stream are the possibility of doing a wild card, which would be a rainbow. It won't be a wormhole, but I like the cut of your jib, but it'll be a rainbow worm. That's what it originally was called. The addition of a rainbow worm, blank heads of the worms. Those are the 2 that I think we can move with. Okay. Do I accept fan mail considering the whole situation? What's the whole situation? Do I accept fan mail? I accept whatever you want to tell me. Okay. Mom stream's going to happen. Okay. I'm trying to find 2 good questions here. So the idea behind the rainbow worm would that it would work as all colors. So it might actually look like all four cards twisted into one, and then it would have its own icon that would say it'd probably be a rainbow. And the rainbow definition would be that this card counts as all card types. I actually semi-tested that card, but it seemed like not an elegant addition because it was another mechanic that I added for one card. But if we're looking for more shit to add to this that adds more to the game, sure, let's just do it. It makes the game a little easier too. It goes faster. How are we doing on unlocks? Let me refresh this shit. Oh yeah, we're only 5,000 away from the goal. You guys got it. But by the time I go to sleep tonight, I'm sure we'll hit it. But the one thing that you guys can do in the meantime, and I'm serious about this, is really just tell people about the game. Just tell people, hey, that weirdo guy that made that Isaac game and that Meat Boy game or whatever else, he made a card game, and see if they're interested. Or you could sell them in any other way you want to sell it as. Hey, there's some game that could be played with your mom and your kids, and it's weird. Check it out. It's cute. What's the big end goal for Tapeworm? The big dream. The big dream is I make a game that plays like fucking Uno that people actually like. That's my impossible dream, and that is the end goal. I think I said this before on stream, possibly in an interview. I'll say it again here. When I was 7.5, 8 years old, I always went to summer camps, like day camps, because my mom worked. So my mom would drop me and my sister off at these summer camps, and we'd be there for the whole day. And the first time I went to the camp, super awkward. I'm just some weird little fat kid, and I wasn't talking to anybody. And one of the camp counselors sat down and said, we're all going to play Uno, and I'd never played it before. And it was so easy to play and easy to get into that I had a lot of fun doing it, and I started to make friends and talk to people, and it was just kind of like this cool experience. It was a cool social game. Now, I know Uno is a kind of a bad example because Uno's, it plays itself. Like, there's no choices that you make to do anything. It's just a bunch of random happenings. And that's really not how Tapeworm plays, because there is strategy involved. But my goal is to try to make something similar to that almost any kid, any parent, whatever, in a social situation could sit down and play this spatial game that plays kind of like Uno, that has some strategy to it. It'll still make you feel smart when you make a good decision. And to do something even close to that, I think would be the end goal for me when it comes to having achieved something. Like, make a game that somebody uses at the boys club or something, and they break it out and they play with their friends, and it becomes a thing that they remember. That's what I want. That's what I want for it. We'll see what happens though. Like, it'd be cool. Like, if this game does well, like maybe we could sell in retailers, or it actually will become a bigger thing. And I think that would be great. Okay. Someone's suggesting a devouring worm that you place on top of cards that are already in play. We did mess around with that. That was actually a mechanic at one point in time, but it was too advanced and confusing for a majority of people. There were a lot. So the hardest part about designing this game was to make a game that anybody could play. So the mechanics had to be very simple, but have some amount of depth behind them, so your choices mattered. The way you played cards mattered, and whatever else. So you could think ahead and you could make good decisions that give you an advantage. And it just didn't play itself. But we played around with mechanics like putting cards on top of other cards and changing the cards like that. And it became too confusing for people. And I don't want that. That was the issue that I kept running into. One of the more simple ones, the mechanic called peek, it's a little eye. What it used to do is you would look at the top 4 cards of the library and put them back in any order. That was a really cool mechanic. But it required you to think 4 steps ahead. And I noticed that a majority of people, especially new to the game, or too young, or even older people that hadn't really played games a lot, they were thrown by this. And then I'd ask them afterwards, like, what do you think about this mechanic? Because I know that you got stopped up there. And the response was like, I don't want to think 4 steps ahead. Like, I feel put on the spot. I feel like I got to make the right decision. And then everybody knows my decisions because they're going to get those cards and I feel stupid. Well, that's instantly out, gone. Like, that is not the type of game I want to make. I want to make a game that is more easygoing and doesn't put somebody on the spot and make them feel stupid. So I cut that mechanic and I made it so I think George Fan actually suggested this, change it so the peek mechanic is you just look at the top card of the library, and then you can take a card from your hand or the card that you're looking at, and then you just put that back on top. So the next person will possibly get screwed over by whatever card you do. So you feel smart in that respect, but you only have to make one decision. So a lot of this game was streamlining mechanics so everybody can play, which isn't something that I ever think about. I make games for the most part to a specific audience, and the specific audience usually pretty hardcore. I try to make things as accessible as I can to the audience, but I'm not thinking about making, Meat Boy accessible for the elderly or a child or whatever else. Like, I'm trying to make this game as accessible as possible, and that's the hurdle that I have to jump over, which is the fun part. Like, making an accessible casual game is a very difficult thing, and I wanted to take a stab at it, and I think I did a really good job. So that's the last question. Will the mind-blowing surprise will be an add-on at the end of the Kickstarter? Yes, don't worry. We thought about all this stuff. The mind-blowing surprise will also be an add-on. You will be able to add it in case you've locked yourself into a tier like the OG gold tier. We'll make sure that anything that we add extra, period, we will be able to add it on after. So don't worry. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. This was fun. Thanks so much for the ideas. The ideas were really cool. Like, honestly, super cool. And if any of you idea people are out there and you come up with more ideas, please tell me. Please tweet me with your ideas. I appreciate your ideas because I don't have your minds. Like, I can't see things from out of my own perspective. And I come up with a lot of cool ideas, but I don't have the perspective that all you have. So if you've got a cool idea, throw it out there. I promise I won't mock your bad ideas. I'll be very nice. So take it easy, guys. I'll see you soon. Remember, Funkify. I hope I remember. Anyway, see you. Bye.